Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back again with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2018 November kits again. And I really wanted to do something with this really fun black and white text paper from Jen Hadfield and some of the lighter pink colors in the kits. I was just in the mood to focus on a lighter color scheme, so I'm going to try to not use any blues or greens on this layout. And I wanted to do kind of a layered torn look on this layout, and so I'm going to use some of the textured white basil cardstock as my main base, and that's from the cardstock kit. And then I'm just going to tear some chunks of these papers and kind of just layer them together for the top half of the layout. And I really love this Heidi Swapp pink paper. I have two copies of it, and I used my other copy as the background for my very first layout using these kits. And so I used the other side of it to do my die cut for last week's page. So I have a chunk of it left, and I'm just going to tear it and use it as a layer. And then I wanted to use this Heidi Swapp paper here that has all these different stripes on it. And I just want to use the pink portion. And so I'm going to tear it and kind of layer that in as well. And I really love this soft pink. I think it's pretty mixed in with the black and white. And I'm going to also use some of those Heidi Swapp stencils that we get in the color kit, because my assignment for today is just to use mixed media on my layout, which is easy for me because I do it every single time because it's my favorite. So anyway, these are the little stencils I was talking about. Now, you don't have to use these as stencils. You could color these and use them as pattern paper. You could punch shapes out of them. You could do whatever you want because they're made for pretty much any type of thing you want to do to it. I'm going to use the small dotted one as just plain paper. I'm going to tear it and kind of wedge it under there like you see. And then the one that's got the flowers on it, I'm going to wind up cutting that up later. And then I'm going to use another one as an actual stencil. So I use those quite a bit on this layout in different ways. Now, I wasn't sure where exactly I was going to do my mixed media, so I'm going to go ahead and cover the bottom portion of the white cardstock that's going to be showing with some white gesso. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick down all the papers and then go over some of that with the white gesso as well. And I don't want to fade out, you know, any of the colors or the patterns, anything like that, but I do want to soften up some parts of it and just kind of prepare it for some mixed media that I'm going to do here in a little bit. And also it's going to give me some white space. And I know I say that a lot, and what I mean by that is, since I've got some pattern papers going on here, you know, like this text paper, it's pretty busy as far as the pattern on it. And so to kind of break that up, I'm going to white some of it out. And I'm going to use a black and white picture today. It's another selfie. Surprise, surprise. I take so many little phone camera selfies with my kids. I think that's, of all the pictures that I have on my hard drive, those are the most. And I'm cool with that because I always try to take selfies with them just because it's fun, and if they're laughing and smiling, I'm going to take advantage of that. So here's what I was talking about with the gesso. I just want to make the photo pop off the page a little bit more, and I feel like creating a little white haze around the picture allows that to happen. It just kind of separates the picture from the pattern and gives it a little bit of solid color around the edges, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to use this stencil. Well, I'm calling them stencils. They may not be called stencils, but I'm going to use this one as a stencil. And I'm going to use some modeling paste through it, and that's from my stash. And I'm using the Liquitex brand. I get that from Michael's. And I'm just using my old trusty plastic palette knife to scrape it over. And I'm not going to do the whole entire thing. I just want to do a little bit to where you're going to see all these kind of floral shapes kind of peeking around the edges of the photo. And in the end, you're not even going to be able to tell that it's a floral stencil, because I'm going to, by the time I add the mixed media on top of it and add layers and embellishments, it's just going to look like texture on the background. And that's kind of what I was going for. You can see there it's kind of bumpy and it's hard to see it now, but when I start to add the shimmers on top of it, you'll be able to see it kind of run and pull in between all of the shapes from the stencil. So this color here is called Good Old Summertime, and we get that in this month's kit. And then I'm going to pair this up with the Shimmers Sunflower. I think that one's called Sunflower. Yes, and I think we got that one last month. From the past 3 or 4 months, I've kept all of those shimmers out on my desk because each kit from month to month seems to have similar colors, and you're able to pull all of those different color shimmers to kind of mix and match, and they're wonderful because I'm mixing one month's color with this month's color, and I'm getting this really pretty pink color. And so you never know what you can create until you start kind of mixing and matching, and it's really fun to, you know, pull things from previous kits to use. You don't feel like, you know, they're just going to sit on your shelf or go to waste because they just seem to keep matching. Here you can kind of see the floral shapes there, and when you touch that, it's real bumpy and just creates some really fun texture. And then the shimmer from the paints is really, really pretty too. So here's the color scheme pretty much. I'm going to try to stick, like I said earlier, with the pinks, and I did decide to add in some of the golden yellow because I wanted to use some of these acetate leaves, and those are exclusive this month, and there is a huge pack of them. I think they're in the main kit, and I just love that golden orangey deep yellow color. I don't even know what color you would call that, but I wanted to use those 2 big leaf clusters and then that wreath of leaves somehow, some way. And I'm going to layer in a little bit more soft pink here with this Project Life card and one of the Heidi Swap white and pink diagonal striped frames. And I cut the flower cluster off of that Project Life card because you wouldn't be able to see it anyway, so I don't want to waste it. And I'm going to wind up cutting it up or cutting it out later and using that as an embellishment. So I went through all of the die cuts and picked out a couple things that I wanted to use. I felt like I did want a couple of black and white elements here and there since I have this on the background and then I have it in the photo. But I didn't want black and white to be a huge, like I almost used that black and white striped vellum circle, but the more I looked at it, the more it was too much. I felt like it, I don't know how to describe it, but I tried several black things here and there, but I just kept finding light pink things and that yellow color that just looked better. And what I'm cutting up here now are some floral elements and circle elements from the exclusive Puffy sticker sheet. And I really love that minty color, but like I said, I'm trying to only use pinks and the golds. So I tried not to add any of the aquas or the mint color. And I did pull several things out over there on the side. I don't wind up using a lot of them. I did want to use one of these circle wood veneer pieces. I think those are Jen Hadfield also. And I'm going to wind up using this one here that's a circle. I'm going to use that instead of that black and white piece because I felt like it just kind of, it was softer. I know it's got the dark edge around it, but I liked how that looked over there because the black and white text paper, it's not, I keep saying black and white, it's not a true white, it's more of a cream, and then that hello circle is kind of a cream. And I don't mind mixing and matching cream and white. I think it looks fine here because my background cardstock is white, even though those things up top are cream color, and I think it's fine. I'm not one of those that has to have my whites perfectly matched, or I don't tend to use cream a lot. But in this case, I feel like it just goes well, and I like how it looks with the pinks and the yellows. I decided to add a little bit more of gesso there because I'm going to do a cluster over on the right, and I felt like I might add a little bit more mixed media over to the right, and I just wanted to, you know, prep the paper there, and so it's not going to just soak right through. I wanted to add a pop more of that yellow golden color, so I tore a little bit of that Project Life card to add to the top and the bottom of the photo layers. And a lot of this layout is just me playing around with embellishments here. Here's another one of the stencils that I was talking about. This one's really, really pretty, and I'm going to use this one as is, but I'm just going to cut it up. And so you can kind of create your own little embellishments or die cuts here. And I kind of just wanted to do a little tone on tone thing here with the white on the white. So I don't color these, I don't do anything to them. I just cut them and layer them in. I love the way leaves and flowers look kind of coming out from underneath pictures. Every time I use leaves or flowers, they have to be somewhere kind of around my photo. I don't know why I do that, but it just seems like that's where they belong. And so that's what I'm going to do again on this layout. There's so many floral elements and die cuts and stickers, and they're just so pretty, and I love to layer them. So I want to use more than just the one die cut flower there, so I cut another one up I'm going to use in the cluster, and then I do wind up cutting up a third one to use over on the left side. So now I will have a visual triangle of 3 of those. And here's where I'm going to fussy cut out that little element from the Project Life card, and I'm going to layer it over on the upper right corner of the photo, because I do have that pop of darker pink coral, whatever color you want to call that. It's not red, but it's not pink. It's kind of a cross in between. And so I'm going to have just slight pops of that color. And I really like the tone on tone with the white. You can see the texture that it adds, and it kind of blends in, but you still see it. It just adds some interest and texture, and I think it's really pretty and soft. Now here is where I'm going to add in my thread. You know I love me some thread, but I'm going to mix 2 colors together to kind of get that darker reddish pink color. And so I'm mixing a lighter, softer pink thread with more of a reddish corally. I know the names of my colors here are definitely not professional, but that's just kind of how I describe them. But I'm going to do that twice. I'm going to add it to the to the right of the photo, and then to the left of the circle over there up at the top of the cluster that I'm working on. And I'm going to start to glue all that down, because if I start to move it, I'll never get it back to where I'll have it. And now I'm going to start adding little bits of glue here and there. And I know someone's going to ask, I am using the Scotch tacky glue, and I get that at Michael's. You can also get that on Amazon. And then the bottle that I'm using is the fine liner bottle. Mine is very dirty because my sticky hands touch it all the time, but it works perfectly, and I've had it for a couple years now, and it's still going strong. But I get that at Hobby Lobby. You can also get those on Amazon, but it comes empty and you put the glue in it. Okay, so for my title, I wanted to use one of these really big matte gold thickers. I love the font of these. I love the big size of them. They are awesome. I wish I had every word under the sun in those because they're so pretty. And I wanted to do something different with the title. I thought about using the one that said smile. I thought about using the one that said pretty. And I decided to use beauty. And I'm going to continue with the title, Beauty in the Everyday. And I'm going to add the word details. And I'm going to use the little sticker there. It's gold foil, and that's from the Heidi Swap sticker sheet. Just because this was an everyday moment. I think Reese still had on her pajamas. You know, it was just a cute selfie. It wasn't anything huge. But around here, you know, the everyday moments are huge for us. And so I love taking pictures of just everyday moments of us doing nothing. Pretty much just, she's laughing, I wrap my arm around her, I smush my face up next to hers, and we take a selfie. Like her eyes all smushed up next to my cheek. But she was laughing, and it was just a cute photo. And so it's just one of those everyday moments. And those are sometimes the most beautiful moments because they're not planned and they just kind of happen on the spur of the moment, you know, and you don't have time to fix your hair and you don't have time to make sure you look all pretty. You just smile and snap it, and it turns out. And so that's kind of the thought process behind my title, just beauty in the everyday details. I'm going to add a couple more of these gold foiled stickers from the Heidi Swapp sticker sheet, and I added another puffy flower cluster sticker down at the bottom with some of that thread underneath it. So now I have 3 points of the thread, and then I'm going to come in with my ruler here, add my journaling, and then off camera, which I felt like you probably were bored to tears by now, but I added some more flickers of paint. Added some more gold and some yellow and some pinks. But that's the final layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really like the look of the torn paper, and I don't know, I just think it creates some really fun dimension. You know, you don't glue the whole thing down, kind of leave the edges kind of peeking up there. I love that effect. And yeah, it was really fun to make. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope everything I said made sense. It's Saturday night, so, you know, I'm kind of tired. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.